Oh my god, guys, the sun is shining today. I can actually get some stuff done in the garden today. So today I am going to whippersnip, and I'm going to whippersnip a lot. So I'll give you a quick walkthrough and show you where I'm going to start and what needs to be whippersnipped, and then I will show you through after I've done the whippersnipping and show you how much a bigger difference that it can make just giving a good whippersnip around the place. So obviously I've got my walkways here to whippersnip. I don't pull these out because it turns up the ground, which causes more seeds to come out. Eventually I'd like to have them look like this, where there's very little weeds in them. Obviously this still needs to be done. There's a heap of weeds I need to pull out in here, but I do have the project that I'm going to be doing in there. So I just need to find, I'm pretty sure this is the edge of the bed here, because I can see the retic system just there, and I'm pretty sure that's on the edge of the bed. So I'm just going to find the edge of this bed and get all this through here whippersnipped, and all up around my sitting table whippersnipped and or mowed. I'm also going to have to whippersnip under the tree here because I can't get the mower under there, and I have to be careful of all the pipes that run through for the retic system. So all that will need to be whippersnipped through there, around the little trees and things like that. Down the edges of my walkways, because this here is all actually a walkway, and then that's the bed on this side. I'm not going to whippersnip in the beds because I want to pull that out. I can actually fit the lawnmower down this section here and through here, so the lawnmower will come through here, and then anything around my rock pile that I can't mow close enough to, I will have to whippersnip. The lawnmower does get in here a little bit, but quite a bit of this will also need to be whippersnipped through here as well. So, and then up at Strawberry Hill, so all this will hopefully get mowed as well today. The sun is supposed to be out for the next for most of the rest of today. So I've got probably about 3 or 4 hours. So all the lawn hopefully will get mowed back today. So and I will get in around in Strawberry Hill here and get all this whippersnipped out of here so I can see the bathtubs a bit better. And all this in here through the middle here will also be whippersnipped. It is very quite high grass. You can tell from the height of the bathtubs, and they are sitting on logs. So hopefully I'll get all that done today, and hopefully she'll look a lot better. I'm hoping, it's still a little bit cool out here, but hopefully I should be able to get most of this done today, because I'm not doing anything else. I've done some stuff cleaning in a little bit of cleaning, not much, but I can do that later. So, but I have one thing that I need to do first before I do that, and that is take this boy's rug off before he gets too hot. This is the first week he's had it on because we've had really, really cold nights along with the rains, and I didn't want him to get too hot. Yes, that is a big missing piece in the front here. He did that 2 weeks after I bought this rug last season. So he wrecked it. He gets to wear it. Hey, big boy. It still keeps you warm, doesn't it? Shall we get it off? Yeah? All right, we'll get on and get that done, and then we'll get some mowing done. Guys, I've been out here for about 4 hours, but I tell you what, it looks amazing. I'm not going to worry about picking any of this grass up. I'm just going to let it mulch down and do its thing. So I'm now happy. Obviously I still haven't done anything in here because I have a plan for this one, but you can actually probably for the very first time, guys, see my garden beds. I have found them edges. I have whippersnipped around them. I haven't weeded in any of them, but you can see the edges of the beds now, where they actually go. All the grasses underneath this tree is whippersnipped down. It's just feels so much better to have all this whippersnipped. So you can see now fully where the edge of my garden beds actually are, where they are and where they run, where they finish. So there's still this bit here through to the edge of that bed there that still needs to be mowed in here. I'm going to get the right on in here. So, but you can see how long the beds are now. It's pretty cool. You can see the pile of, this is the new compost pile, which is pretty much a weed pile. All the grass is down here, is all whippersnipped down. The walkways are a little bit better. And I decided that I was just going to whippersnip all this grass in here. When I had a look at it, it's gotten quite established in here. So I think this will just need to be, I'll keep it maintained by trying to keep it whippersnipped. We've done a little bit around the edges of the bed here, just to keep around the rocks here, just to keep it a little under control as well. You can see now where the grass and the corn patch here actually is supposed to be. It's so much better, looks so much nicer. And once I've got all these garden beds with their rock edging all the way down and more mulch in it, it's going to look even more amazing when it's done. Especially over summer when the grass stops growing. Hubby kindly mowed all of the lawn for me. And I think the biggest transformation for you guys to see is, I don't think you guys have ever seen Strawberry Hill without weeds, without the grass growing all the way up around the bathtubs. So I can now actually walk through here and know what I'm walking through. So these guys have all been whippersnipped through and around, and my little shortcut through here, I can actually now get through here. I've trimmed the tree back a little bit here just with the whippersnipper. So this is all whippersnipped around here. I did a little bit along here, along the path here. The other place I did was outside the greenhouse. Hello, Gus Gus. Oh, you want a pat? You want a pat? Want a pat? Oh, it's your boy. So I ran out of I'm running out of daylight, so I can't get the rest of this done. But now I can actually get into the greenhouse. This, I'll have to pull all the sticks out and reorganize all of that first. But yeah, everything just looks so much nicer. Obviously there's still the mowing underneath the fruit trees to be done up here. But it does take time, especially when the grass is wet. And how thick and tall it was. A lot of it was almost knee high. So yeah, so it's looking heaps better. And I can't wait. Hopefully I'm going to have another beautiful day. You see the day is ending nicely here. Still getting a little bit cold, so I'm going to have to look at putting this rug back on. So I still haven't had a shower. I am still covered in muck everywhere on me, all down my trousers and my boots. So I'm still yet to have a clean up myself. But yeah, guys, it feels so much nicer up here now to not have all this excess stuff, weeds and stuff around. But yeah, so hopefully if I have another nice day tomorrow, I might be able to get in and get some more weeding done. I'm looking at myself and I am covered in grot. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow I might actually be able to get in and get some more done, and get some of the garden beds weeded, and maybe get a start on melon ball if I can. So we'll just have to see what tomorrow brings. It is supposed to rain for a couple more days again, and then clear up again. So we'll just have to see what the day brings. So I'll just have a quick talk about weeds, guys. Weeds are nature's way of covering the ground to protect itself and stop it from drying out and becoming a desert, basically. So to us, a weed is something in a place that we don't want it. So generally my garden beds are where I don't want weeds, but the ground still needs to have something on it to cover it. So I've realized over the last couple of years that the weeds have their place. They are there for a reason, and that the best way to deal with them, rather than spending days, weeks, months pulling them out from around the garden beds instead of not in the garden beds, I'll always pull them ones out, is to make sure that you get in. Here's what Bear's up to in the background there. I don't know, doing up to something. But yeah, so the best way I have found to reduce the amount of weeds, and it does take time, is to basically make sure you have them cut back down to the ground before they go to seed, which will reduce the amount of seeds in the ground to reproduce more weeds the following year. You will always get weeds. There is nothing you can do, especially on such a large property like this. You will continue to get weeds from neighbours. I got a new weed in my garden this year that I've not seen before, so I don't know whether that's coming through the compost I've bought, or whether it's coming through bird droppings, because I've found it in a few different places now. Down in Sweet Pea, it's taking over in there. I've also found over near Passion Tunnel, at the back of Passion Tunnel, there's some in there as well. And there was somewhere else I noticed it was growing as well, but I can't think right at this minute. So to me that almost looks like it could be birds bringing that in because of the different places it's growing up in. Because it's outside the garden beds as well as in the garden beds. So I would say more like birds, because I don't put my compost outside the garden beds. So yeah. All right, guys. So this will be catch up number 10, because I'm not doing a catch up number 9 because I've got to work, which is unfortunate, but you know, that's how things are. So over the next week and a bit, 2 weeks, I will just record the bits and pieces I get done, and I will do you a catch up in week 10, and we'll see how much I can get done in the way of getting the garden beds cleaned up and ready to go for the summer crops. So, all right. There's Mr. Care Bear there again. Well, I need to go and get cleaned up and have a shower and get something sorted out for dinner. I know what we're having for dinner. I just need to go to the garden and get some spinach out of silver beet out of the garden, because I'm using that to make a stir fry with. And first of all, get myself cleaned up, because I'm a little bit dirty. All right, guys, we'll see ya when we see ya. Hey guys, welcome to Little Patch down here today. Just bringing you week 9 and week 10 catch up. It's been a bit of a busy week with work and everything else going on. So yeah, I just sort of bring you down here into Snow Pea Garden and give you a look at how the peas and that are getting on in here today. So I'm still having an issue with these unknown weeds that are now taking over in the garden bed here again. It's very hard though to pull it out because they're runners, and I'll upset all the peas. But As you can sort of see, some of these pea plants are getting really nice and tall, hitting the third run, so they are looking really good. Some of them aren't doing it too well. As you can see, some of them are just not doing really well. The top's been eaten off of this one, so almost a guess at that big black bug in the paddock is being eating them again. So that's the big black bug I'm talking about. That one likes to lean over the fence. You can see I still haven't been back down in here yet. I've just been so busy and I haven't actually got these guys heading up straight, but we'll just see how they go. So this was the second half that I replanted. I can't remember how long it's been now, but you can see they are starting to actually grow. So I'm getting a few more in there. And this is the other pea line. You can see these guys are starting to grow here as well. They're doing quite well. This row here, I do not know what's going on, but there is absolutely nothing growing here. All the seeds seem to have not germinated. Don't know what the issue is, but there won't be anything in this row this year. And the last row, which are the snow peas, as you can see, they are doing really quite well in here. So I'll get a heap of snow peas out of here as well. So it's been raining on and off over the last week. Today's probably the nicest day we've had so far. So this garden bed is doing really well. I've just noticed these are potatoes, because this is the potato patch where I had the potato patch. So there's a couple of potatoes there that I missed that are regrowing, but and there's another one. But other than that, this mulch is keeping the weeds down really quite well. I've had a little bit of tragicness up here. The cabbage, you can see I still haven't got it in, but you know, it's a cabbage. So we've had temperatures between 0 and 5 degrees overnight, and this is what's left of my capsicum plants. So they have not liked the cold nights. I did harvest all of the capsicums except for a couple of them, and they were really quite little, but they were really quite sweet. So you can just see the cold nights have absolutely devastated them. So we cannot grow capsicums here over winter. So there's still, I've just noticed there's a couple more capsicums here. I'll pick them while I'm here. And the chili plants have the same issue going on. They're just getting burnt from the frost. So I'll leave them and see how they go. I doubt very much that they are going to survive the winter. Same thing happening with this tomato plant, and this is why we can't grow them during winter out here. You can see it's got the same issues, frost burn, being way too cold. There is a couple of little tomatoes down here, but I don't believe that we're going to get anything out of it. So it's, yeah, same thing in here. It's just not doing really well at all. Even those tomatoes over here, they're still just not ripening. So they've got, you can see here, this is where they've been frozen overnight. So they are not happening. On a good note, me parsley and me thyme are doing wonderful out here. The brassicas, I'm just going to come around out of the sun. They seem to be doing all right. They're growing. Like, these cold nights don't seem to be affecting them as much. But you can see on these ones here, there's some purpling of the leaves. I'm not sure what the go with that is. I've never seen that before. So, but yeah, so these aren't going too bad. This one's been eaten all up by bugs, and this one on the end here is being eaten up by the snails and that as well. So we're just going to have to see. I might have to try and grow these during the winter. Sorry, I might have to try and grow these during the summer and see if I can get them to grow in one of my cooler beds, like up at Carrot Top. Yeah, it almost feels like they've been frozen and defrosted. So yeah, so obviously I'm going to put the video footage, but obviously now you can see the bathtubs. You guys probably haven't seen these beds without all the grass in them, but yeah, they're much better now. All the spinach, it's still little, but it is definitely growing. It's getting much better. I haven't had to water them. The parsley, by the looks of the change in the coloration of these, I definitely need to get these harvested, but these cold nights have killed the basil. It didn't do very well at all. Did not like the coldness. Shriveled up again. Same with this one. So, but I'll just leave them there. Maybe they might come back next year. They still feel green on the inside. We'll see. So this is the carrots. Slow growing, very slow with these cold days and nights, but they're still alive, so that's a good thing. What you doing, Gus? You're climbing up the water tank. So the carrots, lots of carrots are doing really well. A good amount of carrots growing in there. I had the same issue here as well. Sweet potato is definitely not a winter thing here. So you can see it's just too cold for them. And this one here as well. So, but I'm going to leave them in the ground because the tubers themselves, I really need to weed. So the tubers themselves will sit in the ground and should come back next year. Up here in Carrot Top, I am extremely surprised that these volunteer potatoes are even still there and they haven't succumbed to the cold either. So it's maybe possible that we can grow them all year round here. But yeah, I'll just see how these get on and where they're at. So this is the onions. Pretty much just going to have to write my onions off for this winter season and try again in the spring and just see how they go, because they are not doing very well at all. The carrots, again, they're coming up. I have a few weeds that need to come out. I need to come and do a little bit of weeding, but they're doing really well. The bok choy has had a fair amount of slug munching on them, so I'm losing a heap of them to the slugs and the snails. But like I said, there's not much I can actually do about them, so it's just a matter of wait and see how many of them will actually get to size. And again, it might be something I have to try in the spring and autumn seasons. As you can see, the silver beet is doing really quite well. It's almost time to harvest and start bringing that in and putting it in the freezer. Now, this is the heading lettuce just here. It seems to be coming up all right, and we're just seeing how that one goes. And again, like most of the green bits you can see in here, which is where the red onion is actually weeds or volunteer bok choy from last year. But yeah, so the onions, you know, there's a little nest of onions here, but they are pretty much not happening either this year. So yeah, see there's a lot of spinach in here. I've probably got enough in here now to and in the middle bed to actually bring some in and put some in the freezer, because some of them are doing really well. Like this one, I should be able to get enough to put some in the freezer. On a good note as well, the onions that are in this bed, they are doing really well. It doesn't look like any of them have actually died off, so I will still get some onions, but nowhere near as many onions as I was hoping for. The lettuce, that seems to be doing amazingly. This is the red and green salad mix. You can see me snow peas at the back are doing quite well as well. So it shouldn't be another couple of weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, and I should be able to start actually using some of this lettuce. These guys, you can see, are being munched up a little bit as well by the snails, but I should hopefully get some out of there as well. And these ones, they are beautifully coming along as well. Nice amount of lettuce in here coming up now. So hopefully within another 2 to 4 weeks as well, I should actually be able to harvest some out of here as well. And this is the other spinach that we put in. It is also doing quite well, and it should hopefully won't be too long as well before I can actually start harvesting some of this out as well. Those shallots we put in here, same thing, gonna have to write them off like the onions. You can see there's a little bit of snail damage at the back there on the snow peas, but that's fine. So it is, we're going to get some stuff out of here. Not a great deal is what I was hoping I'd get out of here. But yeah, we will be getting some out of here. So the spinach, I'll need to look at that in the next few days and start bringing that up into the house. With these cold nights that we've had, like between 0 and 6 degrees, full of frost, you can call it frost, fog, mist, whatever you want to call it, it was still has killed some of my plants and not done a very good job. So it has still killed off some of my plants, and I'm not particularly happy about it, but there's not much I can do. And like the capsicums and that I have lost, you know, I'm going to do them again next year and really get into getting them into the ground nice and early. So now you can see we're in the greenhouse. If you guys have seen the videos, I put out the 2 videos. One with the seeds I'm going to plant in, video 1, and then video 2 is soils and equipment. So you'll know that the greenhouse here is doing its job quite well, because it got quite warm that particular day. I had to take my jacket off. But yeah, so we're down here in the greenhouse now. Now, there is some good news in here as well, and there's also some not so good news in here. So I'll start with the not so good news. All those broccoli that I put in here, they were covered in aphids, and they are just not doing well at all. And I also think too, this is the compost that I used, that I'm not going to be using. If you've seen the video, you would have seen me discussing that, and it is just done nothing for them. So you can see here I've still got little aphids running around in here. They're quite bad. So I'm actually thinking these guys are done, or I'm going to pull them out and take a look at them and see if I can salvage some of them. But yeah, you can see they are not doing really well in here at all. What are you doing? Hey? So the aphids got that bad in here on these guys that I actually resorted to some organic fruit and citrus insect spray. So just some of this stuff. I don't normally use sprays, but the amount of aphids that were on them was ridiculous. You can see, sort of see all those little spots all over them. That is how bad the aphids were. And you can see that they're still moving around in here, and they are really quite bad. So I think that these guys are just done. So the chili plants that are up here in the greenhouse, they are still thriving. The cold has not gotten to them in here, so they are doing really well. The capsicum plant that's in here, this capsicum and this one, you see this one is a little bit wilty, so it must be getting a little bit cold in here. So they may make it through the winter. We'll just have to wait and see. Depends on how cold it gets in here. But the chili plants, not producing anything, but that is fine. As long as I can possibly get these guys to winter through here, then I can get them back outside in the ground again. And because they'll be a decent size, and we might actually even get some chilies off them next year. The little tomato plant that had the problem with the leaves, he is doing quite well. You can see there's still some issues with different leaves up here, but he is doing quite nicely. So this is the little tag that we put on, and you can see he has grown a good 2 inches and producing some flowers in the greenhouse here as well. So he's doing pretty good. His soil's nice and moist. Now I put that other big tomato into the rack here. I have footage of this that I'll put at the end of this, so that you can see how much it actually has grown in here. It has. So this was our first tag when we first tagged it. Sorry, that was not. That's the tag that I tied it up with support. This one here is the first tag that we put on, and then basically he has grown up past the pole that I've put in there now. So since I've put him in here, he was just touching this rack, so just below this rack, and he's now probably a good 2 to 3 inches above that as well, and growing through nicely. So but I'll put a photo in. But as you can see, he is doing really quite well, and quite happy here in the greenhouse. If you guys haven't seen my 2 new videos on the prepping for summer crop, take a look at those. I'll link them in here as well, so that you can go back and have a look at that. Make sure you watch the first one, the summer prep first, because I discuss the seeds that I'm going to be putting in. There's quite a large quantity of seeds and vegetables that I'm going to be growing next year. Sorry, this year and into next year. So the summer of 2021. So the second video discusses the soils, what I'm going to be doing with my soils, and some equipment, and what I use to save money on buying pots and alike for growing my seedlings in it. So they're well worth watch, guys. I really hope you enjoy them. The next one will be coming out next week, which will be discussing the time frame on when to start your seeds in the greenhouse, so that they are ready to go when the summer season starts. So but I'll be working on that one over the weekend, and I'll have that out to you by the end of the week. And I really hope that those videos are helpful as well for you guys. So right, so thank you for joining me here at Little Patch again, guys. Like, share, subscribe, you know the deal, and we'll see you on the next vid.